What up, friends? Welcome to the Week 13 edition of Fienbolt. I am your host, Geoffrey Fienbolt, talking all things Chargers football. And yeah, I'm not as happy as I thought I would be getting to do the Week 13 show before the big game versus Joe Burrow in that battle of the draft class. I'm not excited. I'm now nervous. 7-4, I could have been really excited. But what do you know? Chargers disappointed me again. They probably disappointed you again. And if you're hate watching because you lost $20, yeah, I see your venomous tweets. Get a life. Sorry you lost $20, man. Get over. Pick a winner next time. Don't blame me. Happy to be here. Mayo Media Network. Been rolling it out with Pat and Tim lately. Last couple of weeks. We put out a banger show this week. Make sure you go check that out. Honestly, I got real fired up on that show. I think that show released a lot of negative energy that I'm not harboring as we record this Thursday morning. That being said, when we sort of recap, when I talk about maybe things that have gone wrong, like drops, like lack of tackling, like third and long, I'm sure I'm going to get quite animated. But at this moment in time, I want to bring a sense of calm and reason to the situation, but you better believe I'm quite nervous. We got very little wiggle room right now. And the possibility of the season being a true disappointment is now staring us in the face. We're not there quite yet. And I can sort of plan a road to salvation as we look through it. There aren't many games left. We're in December, folks, but it's Bengals, home to Giants, home to Chiefs. I don't even know where the Houston game is. And then Houston, home to Denver, at Oakland. So let's just win the games we'll be favored in and lose the games we won't be favored in for just a moment. Which means we lose to the Bengals and we're 6-6. I don't like that one bit. And I'll be pissed off royally. Bounce back win against the Giants 7-6. Sadly, got to give the L. Got to give the L versus the Chiefs. Got to give the L versus the Chiefs. Then we beat Houston and we're 8-7. And then it would come down to, I guess, those final two games versus Denver and Oakland. Got to find a way to win this week. Got to find a way to maybe win that Chief game. I don't know. But I'm just saying that the road to this season being a failure is now in front of us. And it was never really in front of me thinking we can just win that Denver game. I always plotted it out. Even once they got to 4-1, you go back and forth, win, lose, win, lose. Well, now we're stacking too many losses and we're not stacking wins. We haven't put back-to-back wins up since we were 4-1. So now that is, that's becoming a problem. Okay, that's becoming a problem for us. But I will say the notion that the Chargers, listen, don't get me wrong, they disappointed me last week. And if you're watching this, they probably disappointed you. But I don't know. I feel like from a big picture situation, they are kind of being unfairly maligned. And maybe that's just me trying to protect them and be biased. But I mean, take away the ceiling thoughts, that sure I'll make a future on and I'll buy into, and they're math nerds telling me to get excited about it. So I do. But in a realistic sense, they're 6-5. Their odds to make the playoffs were plus 115, plus 120, which I have a heavy piece on. And their win total was 9, which I have a heavy piece on. They're all still in that frame. Are they not? The worst team they've lost to this year, guys, is Minnesota from a record perspective. There has not been a cream puff, and there hasn't been a loss where it's oh my God, they lost as a touchdown favorite at home or on the road. There hasn't been that game. Now, I can tell you in my heart of hearts, last week felt like that game. But the odds makers were telling me not to allow that. And yeah, Denver's probably the worst team that they've lost to this year. And that's not even a knock on Denver because they've only lost to really good teams. But I would think Minnesota is better than Denver. Yeah, that's just my opinion, even though their record is worse. So Minnesota, from a record-wise, is the worst team the Chargers have lost to. They've lost to the Cowboys. They've lost to the Ravens. They've lost to the Vikings. They've lost to the Patriots. And they've lost to the Broncos. But this was the week where I was the most annoyed after a game, certainly. I'm not even joking. They ruined my first night of Hanukkah. And that shows what kind of problems I probably have. I'm working on them, folks. I am. I promise you. I am. But nonetheless, we remain here. So I do think there's a lot of maybe unfair hate towards the Chargers. Like where they are right now, I want to say is probably very much in line with where you thought they would be at the end of August. Maybe not where you thought they'd be at the end of September or mid-October, whatever date. It would have been mid-October because I was in Vegas for that Browns game, mid-October. Yeah. So nonetheless, though, it's been a slog. It's been a slog, and it's, it takes its toll on me to some extent. I think I've handled the losses very well this year. This loss really bothered me. The drops, it's like I don't want to get into it, but that's, I guess, what I'm supposed to be doing. That's the show. Wish I could just turn the camera off and not talk about it. So a really annoying game. And I thought that whole middle part, they were going to take the balls of it back, and they controlled it. Denver couldn't stay. There's a whole portion in the middle of that football game, let alone the fact that we can't get off the field on third downs. We can't recover fumbles. I think the Chargers have forced the third most fumbles in the league this year. The problem is they've only recovered like 3 of them to the 14 that they have forced. I knew it was an issue. I just assume it happens everywhere in the league, but drops are real. Apparently we're like the league leader in drops, or we're the league leader in premium drops. I don't know, some stat that I guess differentiates like premium drops. I don't know what that means, conversions for third downs, but at the same time, they're still one of the best offensive teams in the league. Their ability to possess the football, their ability to get first downs, their EPA stats, their DVOA stats. They're second in the league behind Tampa. So I don't also think it's fair to be criticizing Joe Lombardi. I think this is just a team that lacks a lot of depth. It lacks depth, and roster construction is poor. And maybe a free pass I've given to Lesko is going to wear real freaking thin. Okay. I can't seem to get to the bottom of this Kenneth Murray situation. Maybe the bottom is he just goddamn sucks. Maybe, I don't know. They keep lollygagging with an ankle issue, but he might just suck. Jerry Tillery, another first round pick. Get off the field, asshole. Go back on the COVID list. Don't clip that, best. It's just for people that watch the show. But he's better served us on the COVID list. Jerry Tillery. He's out with COVID. We bring up practice squad players. They go all out effort and they have good game. This guy back, he can't make a tackle. It doesn't matter where he touches you. Derwin's doing 5 jobs. We can't bash Derwin. I think Bosa's playing great. You want to call me an apologist? I don't give a shit. But the numbers back up. Bosa's playing great. I think how they're using Bosa is also great. The problem is there's no complimentary pass rush. See, that's not even so much as me being fired up about the weekend. That's more so me being fired up about the whole goddamn season. Okay, the secondary is fine when everyone's healthy, but it's the goddamn NFL and it's December. And what is the reality and probability of that? Zilch. And we're feeling the effects of it. The third down defense, abysmal. Abysmal. The tackling on that Teddy Bridgewater touchdown run. Pathetic. There's some end of the road situations, unfortunately, on this roster. It appears that could be the case. See, I don't know. Metric wise, I can pick on the defense, but they really did do a good job in that game. They did. Did they not? I'm just annoyed. But what all I'm trying to say is, they kept it. They gave the Chargers a full-on chance to come back. Derwin creates that interception, which allows them to get the 2-for-1 before half out of the half score. What happens out of the half? Well, we get that great touchdown going into the half to Eckler, but out of the half, we just possess the ball for 15 minutes and don't score the football. I think we had a 7 and an 8 minute drive. I don't think we scored points. Like Coach says, I will commend the defense. They actually have done a really good job of not giving up huge plays. But if you're going to give up a touchdown in 8 minutes, then maybe it's just better for the Chargers you give it up in 90 seconds. But it is true. The big play, like the huge chunk play, we've been able to avoid that. We've been able to avoid that. Listen, it's pretty messed up now. Everyone kind of controls their own destiny in the West. I'm sure Denver will get freaking rolled by Kansas City this week, though. But if they win, they're in first place. Who's Oakland play? You think I would know this? Because I've already talked about it and previewed it. Oh, shut up, Saki. Oh my God, it's embarrassing. Oakland is playing. I'm now confused. Oakland on a bye or something? Nope, they're playing Washington. Previewed that game yesterday. They could be 7-5 also. Better freaking win this sucker, Chargers. We're in big trouble. We're in big trouble. Let's talk about it. The Bengals. Oh boy. Are you not scared? Because I'm scared. And, you could put the tape on of both these teams when they played their best, and you can maybe make the case this could be an AFC championship game. At the same time, both these teams have had ugly situations. Right? These guys lost to the Jets. See, that's what I mean. The Chargers don't have that nut low loss. They also haven't played that team yet. I'm sure we're capable of losing to a horrible team. I guess we'll find out when we play Houston in about a month. The Chargers haven't had that. They haven't been able to get any separation on their schedule, and that's been disappointing. And credit to the Bengals. They just romped the division rival. Hopefully it can be a letdown game for them. I don't know. I honestly doubt it. It's a good young team, exciting team. What's a letdown? What's a letdown? They're having a ball out there. And they possess a bad matchup for the Chargers. But what's sad to say is, like, the Chargers play the Giants next week. I can make a case that's a bad matchup for the Chargers. If you can't tackle, then every game becomes a bad matchup. That's the concern here. And the Bengals, well, that's a real bad matchup. Because you can get Mixon inside, and he's a great receiving back as well. And you can just spread us out wide and take advantage of injuries in the secondary and see if Eller's out there. My confidence in this game pretty much stems from when I'm excited about games like this year, the Patriots game, the Bronco game, Chargers played horrible. Maybe I'm negative about a game like I was going into the that Chiefs game. They played great. You know what I mean? That was a long time ago when things were good. So that's that's where my positivity comes from. Positivity comes from. As well as the fact that a lot of people who I consider smarter than me are telling me Chargers are a great bet this week. Okay, I see why you think that. They're just inconsistent. You get 3 points here. There were some early 3.5s I know people really liked. I guess I'd pose this one to you guys, though. Because at the 3, I'd love to teaser the Chargers, get them up to 10, maybe throw that on some college football on Saturday and wake up with a nice fatty ticket. It'll be large. What do we think? Georgia? Can I trust them? Yeah, but it's weird because the way Staley does the 4th downs, your teaser could probably get blown out. Like, that's far more probable, or that's something you need to consider now. Because the Chargers were always such a safe teaser team in the past, but now your teaser can get blown out. But this just represents a bad matchup. I'm also told to be positive the fact that the Bengals don't blitz a lot. And maybe that's where Herbert can excel. Penalties, drops, lack of tackling, problems. I actually looked to fly to this game. I know last week's show, on last week's Fienbolt, I looked to drive to the game. I now look to fly to the game because I'm just bored and I'd like to go. I don't even think there's flights from Toronto to Cincinnati. Just still in this goddamn world we're in. A lot of the airlines in Canada have not resumed full service. They still seem to go to only select locations. It's been a problem. Yeah. So I don't know, but maybe I'll check again. I'd love to go. I'm not driving though. It's 7 hours. Should I buy Herbert rookies on the dip? I've been tempted to send a tweet out about that also. But I know the moment I shell out a couple grando for a card or something, my wife's going to hit me up with a bill. Right? Like summer camp is due in a couple weeks. Summer camp, it's December. You want a spot in summer camp for the kid? Yeah. So that's just it. 1 o'clock in Cincinnati is probably going to be cold. That's a concern of mine as well. East Coast 1 o'clock thing, that's not a concern for me at all. I don't care about that. That's never affected the Chargers. I think Chargers have actually been a pretty good East Coast 1 o'clock team. Even going back to McCoy, Lynn, that's never really been an issue for them. But we'll see if they start sluggish. Be a big problem. I don't know. I want to be angry. I'm trying to get myself angry. I got a lot of my anger out on Mayo show this week. But yeah. That's it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to phony it. It comes naturally. If I think about that penalty that called back that Eckler 1st and goal, then we were going to go tie the game 14-all. I bet you I could get real angry. But I don't want to do that. Kids are home from school. And I'm going to go play with my daughter. For a little bit. Why get angry about the Chargers when I can do that? They've already ruined the first night of Hanukkah. We've had many of lovely ones since. A win could save everything. I'm Fienbolt. I'm out. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Mayo Media Network. Go check out the show with Pat, Tim, and myself from earlier this week. We talked about every game on the board, and we made fun of each other. That's what we do best. And Pizzola, Pat, and Cam will be, I'm certain, dropping probably already in the feed if it's not already there by the time you're watching this. So go check that out. That's my favorite show on the network. Make it yours. I'm Fienbolt. I'm out. We'll see you next week. God willing, 2 games over 500. Or I might be having an aneurysm.